We going NFL or we going college?
We're going to go, well, it's going to be...
Or just football?
We could just go, let's go football. We'll talk college.
Yesterday was crazy in college football.
Period. It was.
Boise State lost again, which made me so happy. Lost to BYU, who won on a Hail Mary.
Right.
You got Florida State eking one out while the first half was tight.
Right.
You got Jackson State playing Auburn, and Auburn had to go to overtime to play Jackson State.
Yeah.
To beat them. And now Auburn has to play LSU next week at 3:30. And LSU, I thought, had the damn game in the bag, and then they just...
It's like they let off the gas.
Well, you can't win in college football. Oh my God!
Pervert, man.
Fucking head.
What? Now he's leaving the show because he got to go run after kindergarten girls. Dirty.
Talking, tell him.
What are you farting over there,
No,
man? Anyway, I'm gonna
Plus, I got to fill up my book.
Yes, yesterday was a huge problem.
Y'all see? Stop playing. Y'all see that?
That's a shadow, man.
Man, that's Kevin. That's Kevin's spank material right there.
Yeah, whatever.
Kevin be tugging his butt. I told you, got all the white girls.
anyway, the thing that freaked me out about yesterday was the whole situation in the SEC. You know, you had the big teams in the SEC, like Bama did what they had to do, but then you had some of these teams like Auburn, like you said, that struggled against Jacksonville State. I mean, struggled
mightily.
They almost lost the game.
You're talking about overtime to beat an FCS team.
It was bad. You had Arkansas losing to Toledo. You know what I mean? I mean, it's funny, man. I think with this new playoff system, the landscape of college football is slowly going to change. You're going to see mid-majors getting better. You're going to see people going, okay, have a better, like, how do you think the recruiting process goes now? Go ahead, man. Like for Jacksonville State, look, George is going to try to. Why don't you show everybody? No, what
you do so much better at being me than I do at being me.
Huh?
Yeah, I said you do a much better job at doing me than I do at doing me. So you let them know what you think I said earlier.
Well, it's not what I think you said. It's what you said.
At this point.
Because I was talking about the recruiting process now with this 4-game playoff and stuff like this, and we were talking about schools like Jacksonville State and all that, and George is like, yeah, man. He goes, you know how it's going down, and this is how George acts before the camera comes on when he goes into full ghetto mode, you know, because he doesn't want to offend any people of my color or anything like that and stuff like this. And George knows I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. So the camera's off, and I said, so what do you think about... Oh, this is how it's going, man. Motherfucker, you know, shit, man. Motherfucker come up, and they be like, yo, man, you don't need to motherfucking go to Auburn, motherfucking Alabama, man. Motherfucker, we play them niggas anyway, man. You gonna be on TV, man. Fuck it. You don't need the grades to be at motherfucking Jacksonville State, man. All you need to show up and fuck. And besides that, we got all the white girls on campus. Yeah, man, you be killing all them white bitches and playing football on national TV. And I was like this. Okay, you think that's how the recruiting process goes at Jacksonville State? And George's like, yes, I do, Kevin. Yes, I do, you black motherfucker. And that's exactly how it went down. This day in history, September 13th, 2015.
What Kevin didn't say is Toledo. Oh, yeah, Toledo went into Arkansas and won. That was a big one. I thought Tennessee had Oklahoma beat, and they just shit the bed. Ended up losing that one.
Shit the bed.
Yeah. Was there any other squeakers? I mean,
yeah.
Missouri. Missouri goes to Arkansas State.
Who in Arkansas State has not won a game, everybody, and squeaks one out. They're the 21st ranked team in the country, and they barely beat Arkansas. They beat them by a touchdown in the last minute.
And Michigan State proved to me why they're the only team left who's got a shot at beating Ohio State. Ohio State does not play another team until they play Michigan State, and Michigan State's the next to last game. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy.
BYU beats Boise State.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to see a disgusting schedule? You want to see the toughest schedule, I think, in the country?
Who?
BYU.
Who do they play?
First week, they played at Nebraska. Second week, they played Boise State. At UCLA, at Michigan. Okay.
Versus UConn.
Well, then you play UConn ECU. But then they play Cincinnati. They play at San Jose State.
No, what's this team?
Yeah, Wagner. But they play Missouri. I mean, come on. That front end. Okay, their front end of the schedule is a lot worse than their back end because your back end is usually your conference, and they can't control the conference they're in because no one wants to fucking play in the Mountain West or Western Athletic Conference or whatever they're named this week. But anyway, keep an eye on college football. I think it's only going to get better. And plus, if when in doubt, be a Bowling Green fan.
Look at this nigga, man.
Me? Look, how do you lose to motherfucking Bowling Bowling Green in anything.
Let me tell you.
Not only did you lose, but you lost by more than 3 touchdowns. Who played Bowling Green?
What was the final score?
Who played Bowling Green?
Maryland did.
46-20 something.
Let me tell you something. It was so bad. I was
Let me tell you something.
It was Maryland, and people don't, because everybody watches our show, and not a lot of people, unless you're local, care about Maryland. But Maryland is terrible.
Even local people don't give a shit about Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland is terrible. Randy Edsall, Ralph Friedgen was doing a better job than Randy Edsall at Maryland. Randy Edsall doesn't have the power to recruit any good people. You're in the Big Ten now, and if you can't recruit, get rid of them. It's a no-brainer.
Well,
they lost to Bowling Green. Bowling Green's quarterback put up 610 passing yards on those Bamas. 610. Now, let me say something. Not defending Maryland or anything. He did put up a lot of passing yards against Tennessee the week before. Okay, timeout. This is George.
They gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter to lose the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not a video game.
Yeah.
You don't give up 28 points in a quarter.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something else. Speaking of the Big Ten, since we're in the Big Ten right now, another team to watch out for is not that they're going to be good, is Penn State. Let me tell you something.
What do you mean, watch out to see who they might lose to next?
Yeah,
Them Bama's got beat by Temple the first week.
They got beat by Temple, and they beat Buffalo. But let me tell you something. Penn State is not a good team. I'm sorry, all you Penn State fans. And your coach that you guys were hooping and hawing about, he is not as good as everyone thinks he is. Penn State is going to struggle. Let me tell you something. I got Penn State being a subpar. What is it? What am I trying to say?
He's trying to say is they're going to lose more games than they're going to win.
Sub 500 team.
Yes.
You couldn't even say that shit.
Quick, because I don't know what you were trying to say. But do it. You were like that motherfucking mushmouth on Fat Albert. That's literally what just happened. You might as well be in Floyd Mayweather's corner.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. 50 million.
Exactly.
50 million.
Michigan is
what about?
Maybe 500 this year. They're gonna play some cans, but they're a bad team. Illinois, not good. Maryland, awful. Penn State, awful. Purdue, awful. Wisconsin, they're 1-1. They opened with a tough game. They might be there at the end of the season. Ohio State, their just schedule's an absolute joke. Rutgers lost to Washington State at home. Minnesota went on the road to beat Colorado State. Northwestern is going to be a joke because they're not going to play anyone because they play in the Big Ten. Iowa State, Michigan State played a great game at home versus Oregon. Golly, that hurt. Nebraska's a joke, and then Indiana. The Big Ten is not a strong football conference. I don't care.
So the Big Ten is not a strong. There's no arguing that. The only good teams are Michigan State and Ohio State. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. The Pac-12 I think is a much better conference. And the SEC they've got some problems this year. I mean, let's look at them. Auburn barely squeaks one out. Barely squeaks one out. They're ranked 6th and they barely beat Jacksonville State. The only team that looked impressive yesterday was fucking Ole Miss. They fucking dust busted the fuck out of Fresno State.
Who did Bama play?
Bama played somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They got in the they got in the third stringers versus Middle Tennessee State.
Right.
Georgia and Vanderbilt was a good game up to the second half.
Right.
So, but those are two SEC schools playing each other.
Arkansas lost.
Arkansas's a joke. Yeah. They were overrated before the season started.
They lost to Toledo.
Right. They're a joke. They shouldn't even be ranked.
Tennessee blew the biggest fourth quarter lead. They're winning the fucking game. They let Oklahoma come back and drop 14 on them and then lose in overtime.
And what Kevin has fails to realize about Tennessee is they're still a young school and they're rebuilding.
Right.
So they're unjustly ranked, and they're going to hang out in that unranked to the 20s the rest of the year.
But those motherfuckers still.
They should have won the game.
They should have won the game.
Right.
They should have
just won like the game. Maryland. Maryland should have won the game until they gave up 28 points in the fourth fucking quarter to Bowling Goddamn Green.
Yeah. I mean, Florida barely beats East Carolina.
Put it this way: you could easily have you're going to have Ohio State, who's potentially going to be undefeated because they play Michigan State and Michigan their last two games. If they go undefeated, they're your number 1 seed. They're in the playoff. The next 3 teams could easily have 1, maybe 2 losses. Like that's it. There's no real powerhouse left.
No.
Like it's going to be a great college football season. Now is the best season in the world, in my opinion, to get on board. And then in the next 2 seasons, when they expand this shit to 8 teams, then you're really going to see a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the good old college football.
I tell you what, man, Utah, I forget that they're in the Pac-12 now. I mean, you know, they're ranked 24th in the country. They beat Utah State. Not a big win, but still, you know, you look at it and it's like the Pac-12. Washington does what they have to do. Colorado does what they have to do. Washington State beats Rutgers. California blows out, does what they have to do. Arizona crushes, does what they have to do. USC crushes, does what they have to do. Oregon obviously gets lost to Michigan State, but that's it. Michigan State in the against the fifth ranked team in the country. Stanford goes out and does what they have to do against University of Central Florida. And Arizona State does the same. The Pac-12 looks pretty solid as of week 2, but you know that can change. Right now, if you had to say what's the best conference in college football,
SEC West. No.
Yeah. Well, just
No, just the SEC West. The East is fucking shit.
So the SEC West, I agree with you.
No, but I mean, it's the Big Ten only has 2 teams, so it's hard for me to look at them as a whole conference and say, wow, they're really good. Like right now, as of this week, yes, there are still a lot of SEC teams ranked, and it's not going to be that way in a couple weeks, and I fully understand that.
What about motherfucking Conference USA, man? How you sleeping on them motherfuckers?
Because we're going to go to the NFL. Because that's just ignorant. Okay. Now the question is, do we talk about the games that could potentially happen today? Because that makes no sense, because by the time people watch this, so we should probably talk about the shit that's going on in the NFL.
Yeah, we're going to talk about bullshit.
Yeah, so we're not really going to give you any prediction on the shit that's going on. What I don't understand is how a player in the NFL can physically assault an intern on the team and still have a job.
Who's this?
Kyrie Robinson supposedly the NFL is investigating this. There's an intern on the Saints who may or may not loaned him money. Right. They had a dispute, so he hit the kid in the head. You're a professional athlete. You're probably much, I don't know, bigger than this guy, the intern. And if you owe him money, just pay him his fucking money. And if you don't owe him money, you don't need to hit him. Like, I'd fire you. There's no other job in America, not one,
right,
where you can physically put your hands on a coworker, and an intern is a coworker for your team. He's not your teammate, but he's definitely your coworker. He helps you get whatever supplies you need. Might get game film.
Boxing, you can't sparring partner. You can fuck them up all day long. So not every job. Boxing, you my sparring partner. I beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, but they bring in a sparring partner and then he leaves.
Nigga.
But the sparring partner comes in and usually leaves. He doesn't hang out most of the time. Yeah, I would say, I mean, there might be sparring partners that stay there, but usually the sparring partner is just some fucking bum in the gym who's going to get beat up that day.
Right.
And then he goes on. Now, if Floyd Mayweather turns and drops the guy who's getting him his food or getting him his water or driving him around, that's basically what the intern is for a football team. This kid's either running to get filmed, going to get taped. He's helping you facilitate your ability to do your job.
Facilitate? God damn, shorty.
So, Kyrie Robinson allegedly smacks the intern in the head, and now you can allegedly get the fuck out.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You just, if you come down as guilty, you gotta go.
Right.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Well, I don't get that stuff. Let me ask you something, man. Let's play. Yes. Okay. Here you go. Right this. Yo, coach, I still can sack motherfuckers like shit.
They don't even think he's gonna play this year. Do you know that? That man literally, Jason Pierre-Paul, that man literally blew off $60 million. When this went bye-bye, so did $60 million. Just talking about he might not even play. Now, there's also something along the lines where 35% of your hand strength runs through this one finger. This one finger. Controls 35% of the power in your hand. And if you think about it, like...
It's your trigger finger, yo. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
I got nothing. Got nothing. Wow. Because you know what he blew up? His contract in his career. He shot himself literally. Like,
how do you think it went down when you rolled up into motherfucking camp and they were like this? You're the coach, right? Okay, you're the coach, and I'm coming in here. I'm walking in.
What's up, boss?
JPP, I'd like to see your hand. It's been a concern of ours. No, JPP, the other hand.
I think it's still in the cast, because he blew his fucking finger off and broke his thumb.
How's he get people's finger now?
He didn't blow them all off. He only just the pointer finger. You used the fingers.
Okay. Motherfucker's fucked up. Anyway, not good. In some of the stuff that's been going on. Now, let me ask you something. What do you think about the Raiders picking up Aldon Smith?
I think it's retarded.
I think
the guy shouldn't be. No, the guy shouldn't be in the league.
Yeah, but with that being said, from a football move, I know he shouldn't be in the league. It's very risky.
I'm not signing him. I'm not signing that guy.
Yeah.
It's going to be 6 months till we read in the headline till he either got a
Is he
DUI,
No, he
ran
play.
someone over, shot somebody, ran him over, shot someone, or ran him over. Or gets drunk. Like, the guy has a track record of being an asshole.
He's definitely an asshole, but you know what the funny thing is he's an asshole, but for some reason, he's not, all these instances he's had, he's not suspended.
Because the team's
So he's not taking juice, he's not, no. He can play.
No, he's taking Myers, he's taking Jack Daniels, he's taking Seagram's.
But he is not, his off the field issues are not getting him suspended. So he could play. He could play today, because George and I are taping this at 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. He could play today. And you know what? The Raiders need him. And the fact that he's going across the bay to play for a team, I think it's a smart move by the Raiders. I think it is smart as shit. That motherfucker could play football, man. I mean, he had some off-the-field issues and shit, but when it come down and the ball gets snapped, he's all up in your ass. He's a badass fucking linebacker.
If the NFL wants to, quote, protect the shield.
Oh, here we go.
Guys like Aldon Smith.
Listen to Goodell. You sound like
No. I mean, that's their whole thing, right? It's a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. We're here to protect the shield.
Right.
That's what you're here for.
Right, they protect
guys like Greg Hardy and Aldon Smith have no place in your workplace. There's just right. This is the only, and this is probably why people get on athletes and are so angry at athletes.
Right.
Because this is the only thing in the world where people will go out of their way, to look over and gloss over and hide and try to make exceptions for your fuck ups.
Yeah.
You and I cannot make these kind of mistakes, not even in real life. Aldon Smith, in reality, should still be in jail. Greg Hardy, if he didn't have the money to get another lawyer to get that shit moved to another courtroom to get a judge to say this other judge was wrong.
And he can call that girl and be like this, yeah, you need to leave town, you need to stop pressing the issue.
That shit wouldn't happen. Like, it's disgusting what they're letting these guys get away with. And I understand it's only 2 people, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
And look, I understand my team had Michael Vick. My team's had its issues and its players and things like that,
now,
but still.
Let me since we're talking about this and we're
Michael Vick's the only one who actually fucking went to prison, served his time, and came out. Yeah. He didn't try to change venues. He didn't try to find some loophole. He didn't go to fucking rehab. He didn't go to some other fucking program. Like, as much as you hate Michael Vick, and I hate what he did was absolutely disgusting. There's nothing. But fuck, at least he stood up like a man and took his time and did his shit.
And he's never had any issues since then. You know, speaking of other things in news, what do you think about this whole thing with the Patriots that's going on right now?
You know what? I am not a Patriots fan at all. And I'm less of a Steelers fan. But you know what? Today, I kind of side with the Steelers. And for all you people who want to sit there and say the Steelers are whining about winning or losing, they're not. Tomlin didn't whine. Steelers fans, for the most part, the only 2 I know, and still don't like either one of them, didn't whine. Look, they asked Tomlin a question. He answered the question, and then he moved on. He didn't say that won or lost the game. He says this happens when we play here. That's it. That's all he said.
Yeah. And he's not lying about it. I mean, if you're a Pats fan and you can't...
This shit's dated back to 2006.
Yeah. If there's... After a while, people go, oh, we do this. When there's suspect shit happening on a consistent basis, after a while, people are going to start to raise an eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Deflategate, Spygate, fucking headsets. You know, this is not something that's just happening in let me tell you something. They can say, oh yeah, everybody in the NFL does this, every team. I'm sure they do. But let me tell you something. If you're doing it to the point where you're getting caught doing these things and no one else is getting caught doing these things, then how much more are you doing? How much more are you doing it? That's what's raising an eyebrow in the NFL.
An article came out earlier this week that has since been redacted, changed, and mixed up. And let's just put it this way.
What is fucking up, man? Did you get a thesaurus? Do you beat off to the thesaurus?
They went in there and there's an old adage that says if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Grab it.
Which I fully understand. They go back to Bill Belichick's days as a Browns coach. This is the shit he did as a Browns coach.
Right.
He went over to one of his people and said, here, put on this NFL Films shirt, credentials. Go to the other team's sideline and film nothing but their whiteboard and their hand signals.
Wow, that's kind of shady.
That was back then.
I mean, it's not kind of shady; it's a lot of shady.
And the thing is people go, he came up in the Parcells system.
Yeah.
So what type of shit went on then?
Oh yeah. Well, you know the Big Tuna. You know.
So it's just, look, I understand every team might be doing it, but when your team is under the microscope right now, like the Patriots, everyone hates you.
Yeah.
And the idea that Tom Brady did it, I
and the fact that they're winners, everyone hates you. I mean, it's. I just think that they like you said, George, they're going to be under the microscope, and I think
they don't give a fuck. And the rumor is get this. So when the headset goes down on your side, you're supposed to get an NFL official. And the NFL official goes all the way to the other side of the field and tells them, and they're supposed to take the communications down. Supposedly, and I say supposedly, when that guy made it from the Steelers side all the way over to the Patriots side, when he got about here, the headset started working again for the Steelers. But as soon as he left the Patriots sideline and started heading back to the Steelers, guess what? Headsets went out. So whether the NFL controls that shit or not, I don't really give a fuck because they're not in there setting up the communications. They might drop off the headsets, which they probably do.
Right.
But the wiring and the shit that goes on inside of Gillette Stadium is not the NFL's responsibility. They don't have the crew to do that.
Right.
That falls on Robert Kraft and the rest of those motherfuckers. Let me tell you right now, Robert Kraft might be one of the dirtiest business people
you know what?
in the
I was going to
country.
say that, man. Robert Kraft was all squeaky clean. All of a sudden, it came across like that years ago.
Let's do it for Robert. He just look at the happy old man. That motherfucker dirtier than fucking Kevin's draws.
Yeah. Jeez. How did my